Animations for World of the Nerd Couple are generated by Plotagon. Visit plotagon.com to check out the app.
She's late. The traffic out there must be a total disaster.
Nothing went right today. At all. Until now. Honey, I'm home. Sorry I'm late. Traffic was a total nightmare out there. My day was too.
But at least you made it.
I don't know though. Sometimes I wonder if off-hour jobs like yours might be a better option.
Well, getting up before dawn and heading out while it's still dark out is a dreary way to start one's day.
But at least you made it.
Touché. But it's all over now, and I'm sure we have plenty of stories to tell each other.
That we do, my man. That we do. I'll tell you. There's nothing quite like changing out of that stuffy office garb at the end of the day.
I don't call them snoots in suits for nothing. Sometimes I swear corporate office dress codes are designed to show off those executives who know the Armani tailors on a first-name basis.
I thought their cars already did that, but hey, conspicuous consumption is conspicuous consumption.
Long as you don't fall for it. Nobody has to know that you don't wear office suits that cost more than some people's cars.
None of my co-workers do either. It's only those folks at the top. Well, then again, the whole snoots thing.
They don't call them snoots for nothing.
My day is better already, because it's over. And I'm with you.
So what made it so horrible then, besides the traffic of course?
That AMD Ryzen hype train stuff is making its way around the office. And let's just say my co-workers aren't so fond of your position on the matter. Hey there, Lauren. How is the old man? Hold up a second there, Shelley. If he's an old man, does that mean I'm almost ready to retire? Depends on what anti-wrinkle cream you keep in your cupboard. I heard he's a YouTuber. What sort of videos does he do? Oh wait. Computer stuff, right. You don't say. He could jump out of planes and pretend he's surfing before opening his parachute for all you know, right? Maybe if I worked in HR. Of course I was smart enough to avoid that soap opera and become a C# analyst instead after my PC repair shop folded. You build your own computers. Oh my goodness. I thought I was the only one. Building a computer isn't very hard. That's why PC builders get jobs in places like this these days. There's not much left in that field unless you repair them. Hey, let's go back to my cube. I'll bet you know what the news is. I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll bet that it rhymes with Ryzen. Looks like the Ryzen is coming out soon, and it's going to kick Intel's ass like we thought it would. Nerd up, nerd up, nerd up. Woo 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 woo. So you're building another computer. Right. Perhaps. I just got done case modding my case to bedazzle it with fake plastic rhinestones. Not so sure I want to go tearing the thing apart again. Oh gee whiz, Lauren. Don't break a nail now. I'm not. It's just that my computer already does what I need it to do. I can get 60 frames per second in 1080p games. It would be little more than a fanboy money sink to tear my machine apart again and risk dislodging some of the fake bling I just put in the thing. Oh good gravy. A stick in the mud. Well, if not you, then what about Jay? He just built a Skylake i7 machine last summer. He doesn't really see the value in building a new machine again when the old one runs rock solid with everything he needs it for. But it's the Ryzen. The freaking Ryzen. The most anticipated CPU in years. How can you both be so blasé? We're not blasé, Shelly. We're just practical. Oh my goodness. You two are such squares. The Ryzen revolution is about to happen. And you and Tim are going to completely sit it out. If it makes you feel any better, Jay's thinking of getting a Raven Ridge laptop later this year. But he will have missed such a historical moment in computer history. And such a monumental CPU right as it made computer history. If I do remember right, you were the one who told me last year that I didn't need a powerful processor to game. This is such a great place to get a coffee. I'm totally glad that we made this pick-me-up run. Nerd up, nerd up, nerd up. Woo 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 woo. So have you heard the news about the AMD Zen? It's totally going to be awesome and close the gap between AMD and Intel. Yes, I have, though I can't see that product really doing well in today's environment. My husband was telling me all about how it's the swan song for AMD when it fails next year. Fails. Whatever could you mean? Personal computers have stagnated enough as it is with Intel's lack of competition for the last several years. Competition won't make up for the fact that it's very easy to bypass the Zen entirely and get a competent computer for most home tasks with only an i5 or even an i3. Hubby was telling me all about it. He just bought himself a Core i5 system and doesn't see the need for anything more. Ooh. Them's fighting words. Shelly. Hey, I didn't think things would ever get like this either. Computers are a very mature product. It is very easy to get something that does everything you need for things like doing your taxes, gaming, video editing, all without needing a top-of-the-line processor. Speaking of which, how's your squeeze doing with his computer building? He thinks the motherboard is crapping out on that AMD Phenom 2 rig he's been running into the ground for the last few years. So he's biting the bullet and building an i7 Skylake system. Well then, if even he is not waiting for the Zen, I think you two might want to steer clear of my husband then. I'm not so sure we should ever meet your husband. Oh come on Lauren. I'm just teasing. Perhaps the Zen will prove us all wrong and make us all do an about face. One never knows. The analysts, though, aren't too enthused. I really did say that, didn't I? We totally changed sides in this matter. It's okay, Shelly. Just because Jay and I aren't getting Ryzen systems at launch doesn't mean the processor's completely off the table. Hype train aside. I'd rather get the popcorn for what Intel does in response. That should make for some more interesting drama. Well, to each their own. It's your money after all. And his. Got to run. I have a big presentation to set up for in the conference room. This one's gonna be a toughie. You go into the conference room and knock 'em dead. Girl. Tom, I'm guessing the finance department isn't too thrilled with your fuzzy bunny slippers. Casual Friday isn't for a few more days.
Even if it were Casual Friday, I'd still be in trouble. These are finance people we're talking about here. You know. Totally always professional at all times and the best dressed people in the entire company.
You might not want to say that too loud around the folks in marketing. So how exactly did you manage to end up wearing fuzzy bunny slippers to work?
There are two things a guy like me gets really nervous about. Running out of time, and running out of shoes. This morning I ran out of both.
That's a Vulcan salute, by the way. Not a way of telling me about to have something.
I know, but a square bean counter like myself with no nerdy street cred needs to make up for his shortcomings. When I get home, that cat and I are going to have a little chat. Fuzzy Furball's been swatting my rock ports all around my condo at night. I'm lucky if I can find any shoes in the morning. This morning, my luck finally ran out, as did my time. So the same fuzzy bunny slippers I wear when I first get out of bed in the morning. Well, the rest is history.
Just buy the naughty kitty the discount cat food next week. When he gets hungry enough he'll eat it, and maybe learn his lesson.
Hey, aren't you in that presentation coming up in conference room C22?
Yes, actually. I'm giving the talk today to the account managers from that mega elephant account we've been trying to bag for the past 3 weeks.
Whoa, you got some balls there. Courage. Our KPIs for the next quarter depend on how well things go with these people.
It's okay, Sir Tom. This damsel is far from in distress. Let's get to the conference room. That's how it's done, Tom. Just tuck your feet under the table when the suits arrive and nobody will be the wiser for your little fuzzy bunny slipper fiasco.
Could be worse. If my cat were here, he'd try to sleep on the projector. He already loves sleeping on my cable box.
Ever consider getting a dog?
I think I'd rather put up with a snooty cat. Hey, by the way, think AMD has a chance when the Ryzen launches. My fellow financiers aren't convinced it'll be anything more than a flash in the pan.
Who knows, but Intel certainly needs the competition. Just don't tell Shelly if you see her. Man, I totally ruined her day earlier.
Shelly has always been a bit sensitive. Her husband works as a senior systems analyst. He's always telling her all kinds of stuff about computers and making sure she says the exact same stuff. You computer types can get so pushy sometimes.
Yeah, well, my boyfriend does some stuff on YouTube. The snootiness gets worse when you start getting it from random people on the internet.
Doesn't he already have a programming job on that weird early morning shift that gets done halfway through the afternoon when I'm going for my last cup of coffee?
Yes, but at least he doesn't have to deal with the traffic. Speaking of which, I'm not looking forward to getting out of here this evening.
Tell me all about it. That's why I need that last cup of coffee so late in the day. Blasted never-ending construction on the interstate. Those contractors are totally milking that job.
But what about the Ryzen though? Sounds like I owe you finance guys some donuts on Friday.
We're just skeptical because AMD knows a thing or two about hyping people up. They did it with the Radeon revamp last year when Polaris launched. I was on the phone earlier with this guy from Scotland who was analyzing the whole situation. He kept blabbering about something called mindshare. No idea what he was talking about, but AMD knows a thing or two about getting people excited about their brand. It's just you computer people that have the nut jobs going crazy about Ryzen, on the internet and otherwise. That sounds like our visitors have arrived at security. Time to page them in. Are you ready for the biggest presentation you've given in weeks?
This girl is ready, brother.
Nerd up, nerd up, nerd up. Woo 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 woo.
Where on earth did you learn that?
Your boyfriend emailed me that earlier. Said it would make you laugh if you got butterflies in your stomach right before showtime.
They're here. Time to ace this thing. Hide those fuzzy bunny slippers.
I got this. So let me get this straight. We're both computer nerds here, but you found yourself agreeing the most with the finance guy at the office. Who needs someone from IT to dust out his computer every other week because he's afraid of breaking it? Did you ace the presentation?
With flying colors, dear.
Nerd up, nerd up, nerd up. Woo 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 woo. You know, back in the day people used to call me Mr. PowerPoint. I think you're a contender for Mrs. PowerPoint.
We can revisit that later. I think a ring will need to be involved if you know what I mean.
Let's see what's on TV tonight. Oh brother, more reality shows. It's like soap operas, except during prime time with all the stage drama. We should just go back to our day jobs for that.
Man, this cable sucks. We should just hook up a computer to our TV instead and just have YouTube on the big screen. I think backflipping cats would be better than this.
Gives me some ideas for what you can do with the bonus you just won from acing that presentation.
Nerd up, nerd up, nerd up. Woo 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 woo.